Now, I'm not gonna lie, bro. It took a lot for Dodie to get to this point of realization. Dodie6 has been in the media lately, been in the news lately over the antics that he has been causing online, specifically talking about Kendrick Lamar, talking about how he didn't make money off Kendrick Lamar's Hey Now, talking about how he didn't really make money, is homeless, and has been going through things on math, replace the A for E, doing all this stuff, right? It took a lot of things for Dodie6 to get to the point where he's at now, because it appears that Dodie6 has finally decided to apologize, but it took him to crash out twice before he could even do that. So if you could take a look here, this is back when Dodie6 said that Kendrick Lamar's Hey Now didn't do nothing for him. We later on in the channel had talked about how Dodie6 really didn't have his financial situation or his business stuff straightened out. Artist advocate and AudioMac co-founder, also known as Brian Sazuk on X, had actually broken down Dodie6's situation on the thread on Twitter, or on X, whatever you call it. It was in this thread where Brian was able to break down exactly why Dodie6 might have not been getting paid for the feature that he did for Hey Now. Quick, brief breakdown. He said because of an IPI number, which is a way for an artist to get paid for publishing, it looks like Dodie6 didn't publish his information correctly, and that's why a possibility why he hasn't been getting paid for the Hey Now feature. This was broken down after the fact, after Dodie had came out and said that the feature didn't do nothing for him. He didn't get any money or any type of action like that, right? Brian had came down and broke that down, and then everybody kind of just gave their opinion on Dodie6. Dodie6 eventually, as of recently, had got into a car accident. So he crashed out twice. He crashed out, verbally, and then he crashed out literally. He ended up crashing his BMW, and it ended up injuring him and his girlfriend. And I can't show the video on YouTube, obviously, but you could see them in a wrecked BMW. And he goes live, with his girlfriend and him in the car, and he's severely injured. Both of them are severely injured. He's pretty banged up from the side of his head, and so is his girl. His girl looks very distraught in the video. I'm not too sure how it happened or the details on it, but they did crash, and there is a live going on around online where you could see it. I just can't share it here, but you could see him saying that he's not going to go to the hospital. He refuses to go to the hospital, and he puts the camera on his girl, and like I said, she looks completely out of it. And I'm not sure if it was because of the car accident. I'm not sure if it was because of the things that Brian Sazuk, the gentleman, had posted. I'm not sure what it was. The comments online, him reading them, or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure what ended up changing his tone. But after this crash out, after the little crash out with his BMW, and after everybody voicing their opinion online, Dodie6 has finally went to the internet and tried to apologize to Kendrick Lamar. You see here, he says, "I want to publicly apologize to Kendrick Lamar for calling cuz a bitch." He says it right here. He is far from that and ain't did nothing but bless me in my life. So it looks like Dodie6 is finally coming to his senses. Maybe he's decided to talk with a clear mind. Maybe he's taken a step back and analyzed a few things, everything that's been said, everything that's been done. And let me remind you, I think it's just this morning where he recently got into a wreck. So I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of things going on. Like I said, there was also an issue with his personal life. They're saying that he had lost a loved one and things like that. So my condolences, like I said, but it looks like everything has happened pretty fast up until the point where he started, lashing out online. And I guess he's finally taking this time to apologize. And I'm wondering if it has anything to do with the wreck that he got into earlier this morning. I'm not sure if that was this morning. You can correct me in the comments. But I'm wondering if it has anything to do what's been going on with the coverage revolving around him lately. This is the story where he actually tags Kendrick Lamar and he tells him, I'm sorry. You did nothing but bless me. And it's true, though. Kendrick really didn't really do anything but give him an opportunity. And it's like I said, bro, it's really what you do with that opportunity. A lot of people can't really guide you and then hold your hand every single step of the way. They can't do that for you. You're an adult, you're a grown person. And even though people do mess with you, it's up to you to be responsible for yourself and, take care of yourself. That's really on you as an adult. You have to have that type of maturity and responsibility to take care of yourself as a person. But if you ask me, this is one big step. This is one big step for Dody6 to finally make amends for the mistakes that he has made in the past. I really do feel like this is a good step moving forward. Like I said, from the car crash, from somebody passing away, from all the things revolving around Dody6, his financial and business issues. Like I said, he shouldn't have came out and blamed Kendrick Lamar for all of that. Shouldn't called him out of his name for all of that. But him apologizing and doing all of this is a first step to the right path. I think he was led astray. I think he probably, was very, very conflicted, and everything that was going on, it might have put something in his head to make him feel some type of way. But it looks like he's trying to come away from that. It looks like he's trying to get away from that and trying to make amends for the mistakes that he's made in the past. For apologizing to Kendrick Lamar is one very big step into continuing down the right path. I feel like this is a good look. I really do hope that Dody6 does actually end up learning from this, learning from all of this. And I really do hope that he did go to the hospital. I can't share the video on here, but that car crash looked very severe, bro. I don't even know why or how he went live right afterwards. My only attention would have been going to the hospital. But you could clearly see that if you're in a very, very messed up position, getting into a car accident, then the one thing that's on your mind is apologizing to Kendrick Lamar. It really just tells you where his head is at right now. You know what I mean? Like, y'all, man, like all this stuff is going on. And all he could think about is trying to make things right with the people that he did wrong. So, and it's always important to make sure that the apology is as loud as the disrespect. I think that's the important part right here, to make sure that the apology is as loud as the disrespect. I feel like this is a lesson that we could learn, from a business aspect, from Dodie not being able to completely get his business situation straightened out. I think artists could learn from that, understand that there's certain things that you have to do being an entertainer, because this is an entertainment business. Like I said, you got to be good at the entertainment, but you also got to handle the business side of everything also. And another lesson is to never lash out on somebody who gave you one of the biggest lobs ever. Never take the blessings for granted. Never blame somebody who's only there to help you. I think that's another lesson as well. And the third lesson, I think, is you're never too big enough to apologize for your mistakes. I think Dody6, being as ignorant as he was, started to realize that he had made a few mistakes along the way, is one step to going to the right path, one step to straightening things out completely. And hopefully he keeps this mindset moving forward. I don't want to see him getting into any more crashes. I don't want to see him crash out physically, metaphorically, whatever the case may be. I don't want to see him do any of that. I'd much rather see Dody6 in a better setting the next time we see him pop out on live. Hopefully he puts everything else down that's getting in his way, that's blocking his blessings. Get with a lawyer, fix your IPI so you could get paid for the Hey Now record. Apologize to Kendrick Lamar like you did so already. Make sure everything is situated with your family. It was really scary to see the situation unfold this morning when I saw this news break out, but I'm glad that the day ended with him apologizing and him still being okay. Like I said, Dody6 had made a lot of mistakes. Dody6 had said a lot of things. And like I said, the apology should be as loud as the disrespect. And if Dody6 means this, hopefully his actions speak louder than words. And he shows that he means what he says and isn't just saying it. But y'all tell me how you feel about this and get back to me, man. Y'all tell me how you feel about Dody6's apology and everything else that happened after that. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Peace. Keep it a legend.